Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
What's going on, guys? It's Filthy and I'm back with another video. Today we're taking a look at Rathma, which is going to be the Season 19 starting set for the Necro. It's a really powerful build, and it did get more powerful in 266, but I'll be honest, I didn't really play it until picking it up in the last few days. Now, I'm surprised how well this is done. It's doing GR80 with no paragon in main stat at all. I do have 2 level 80 augments, but pretty much it's with about 11k intelligence, something like that, and 80, yeah, 3 minutes, fairly easy, fairly standard. It would be better with more paragon, but it's a really nice starter build. You'll get primals unlocked, you'll be doing T16. So as I say in the background, GR80 and a mix of T16. But before we jump in and show you how this is going to work, I just want to welcome anyone who's new to the channel. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. As always, guys, a thumbs up is greatly appreciated. Now, Rathma is going to pair really well with the season theme because the mages just kill everything for us. We're going to get extra damage because of the stacking effect in Pandemonium. We're also going to get the benefit of kill streaks. They're going to be quite easy to chain together, so we're going to get the extra damage from them. So realistically, you'll be doing much higher content than I'm showing you on the season with similar gear. And yeah, pretty good choice for the season. It is pretty fast and I'm pretty happy with it. Now, we're going to be taking 6 pieces of Rathma, but we're only going to have 5 on the character, and we're going to make up the 6th piece with the Rogue, which we've got in the cube. Now, we're also going to take Crimson set, so you have to take the belt, but you're going to want to choose either trousers or boots. Now, one thing I would say is you want to prioritise boots with skeletal mage damage, so if you get Crimsons with them on, keep them. If you get Rathma ones with them on, then keep the Rathma boots. So yeah, whichever rolls better for you. Now, Rathma 2-piece is completely useless. We don't use Army of the Dead. I can't say that I've ever really used it. Now, bear that in mind when you rank your character up. It's probably not worth putting Rathma on, maybe even until you get 6 pieces of it. But that's probably a discussion for the Necro starter guide. But yeah, 2-piece, pretty useless. 4-piece, we gain 1% damage reduction for 15 seconds each time one of our minions deals damage. Max 50 stacks. So this is a 50% damage reduction. The only slight beef I've got with this is you start the rift with 0, so you may just have to hit things to get this up to 50, but when we talk about the gameplay, I'll show you how to not die at the start of the rift, and then it pretty much doesn't drop off because 15 seconds is quite a long time, so you should have a 50% DR from the 4-piece the whole way. Now, the 6-piece, we get extra damage on our minions, so 1000% extra damage for each active skeletal mage, but it is capped at 4000, so with all the mages out, doesn't matter whether we've got 4, whether we've got 10, they're doing 4000% extra damage, which still hits like a truck, albeit it is probably only about half, maybe a little bit under half of a good Legacy Dreams version. Now, as this is a mage build, we're going to be taking Scythe of the Cycle, which we're going to have on the character. Secondary skills deal up to 400% additional damage. This is great because mages is a secondary skill. We have to have Bone Armor active, that's no problem, we just activate it at the start of the rift and keep refreshing it occasionally. What will happen if you overspam your mages without refreshing your bone armor is that bone armor will drop off. You will lose this damage bonus if it does, so you just need to make sure that your bone armor's got a little gold icon around it and it's got a number on it just to show the number of stacks you're at. So bone armor up, extra damage. Now, also in the cube, we're going to take Rylena's Shadow Hook. This basically gives us extra damage for every point of max essence we have, so more essence is more damage generally. That's going to synergize really well with the mages, because in general with the Singularity rune, the more essence we have, the more the mages do damage. We also get 5 additional essence from bone spikes with the Rylena's Shadow Hook. That's really nice because that is a skill we're going to be using. Also in the cube, we've got Tasker and Theo, so an extra 50% attack speed on our pet. This is just extra damage for the mages, which is really nice. We're also going to be taking the Crispin Sentence, so we'll get double damage against slowed enemies and then treble that effect against any other CC. We're going to be stunning loads, and we've also got a freeze, and that will proc the extra Crispin, so lots of extra damage out of that item. We're also going to take the Circle of Naluj Vol, so we get an extra skeletal mage when we cast it, so 2 for the price of 1. Really handy to get us up to 10 mages, which obviously is our maximum 10 mages. And importantly, they last an extra 4 seconds, so it means that we can keep 10 out for longer. So really essential item. Now, so far so good. I'm pretty familiar to a lot of Rathma builds, but the new addition recently has been the Captain Crimson set. This is amazing for this build because the life regen's not really too much of a thing, but 20% extra cooldown really helps us out with getting Land of the Dead back very quickly. 20% resource cost reduction would be worthless on the 2-piece, but the 3-piece bonus is very handy. So damage dealt is increased by our percentage cooldown reduction, so more cooldown is just more flat damage. That's really nice. We gear for cooldown in this build anyway, and extra resource cost reduction basically reduces our damage taken. So we get 20% from the Crimsons, 10 in our Paragon. It's a 30% damage reduction. Really handy for the Necro because it is squishy. So this is extra cooldown, which is really useful, extra power, which is really useful, and extra damage reduction. Now we're also taking a new item from the last patch cycle, 266, which is the buffed Flavour of Time. We now get double the effect of pylons, so double duration, which is really nice. It means that if we get cooldown, it's extremely handy for this build. Shield pylons, great for Necro because we are squishy, and also we can get extra damage from, I don't know, from power and conduit and stuff like that, so really handy. So that leaves just Nemesis Braces. We want to spawn an enemy champion from pylons, really handy. And then the last item, offhand, we can take anyone we want. It's just a stat stick, so we just simply want the best stats we can get our hands on. So that's the gear covered. Looking at the skills, Skeletal Mage Singularity. This will consume all of our essence to give a really powerful mage, and the more essence we have in our orb, the more damage we do. So we want to cast these at max essence, or as near to max essence as possible. Now obviously once we do cast them, we've got no essence left, so pretty much most of the other things here are to help with essence regen. So Bone Spikes, Sudden Impact, we get 29 essence because of the Shadow Hook in the cube, really nice. But we also get this 1 second stun because we've taken the Sudden Impact rune. This is brilliant. What it means is we can click on an enemy, stun it at will, and the mages will blow it up with the Crispins, so very nice. It's also extremely handy for opening doors, which mages is a bit of a pain to open doors, but this completely removes that problem. Bone Armor Dislocation, we have to take Bone Armor for the Scythe of the Cycle. We get a lovely 30% damage reduction at max 10 stacks, so again when you get in the Rift you want to get this up to 10 stacks as soon as possible. We get really nice Area of Effect stuns. This will stun multiple enemies at once, which is great for the mages because they'll just blow the stuff up. And with the leveled cooldown we've got, this is back roughly every 4 seconds, so really nice. So we can top up our Bone Spikes with this, and we can use both of them to stun pretty much constantly. And that means that whenever we do stop to try and engage an enemy, we're getting that triple Crispins effect, which is really nice. So essence regen primarily comes from Devour Satiated. So we're going to numlock this. It will auto consume corpses then, and that will give us 10 essence per corpse. So whenever an enemy dies, we're going to get 10 essence, which is great. Satiated also increases our maximum life by 2% for 2 seconds. And provided we're consuming enough corpses, this I think equates to roughly about a 50% toughness increase, and we'll talk about life regen in a second. Land of the Dead Frozen Lands, this is really handy because it will freeze the entire screen. We proc triple Crispins when this is up because the freeze counts. We get infinite corpses, which means we get infinite devour, so we get absolutely loads of essence back. So the essence goes up really like crazy when this is up, and it's very handy. Huge cooldown obviously, but we do have about 60% cooldown, so it does come back fairly quickly. And as we talked about, Bone Armor and Bone Spike will deal pretty much the effect of this, though the stun when it's not available. Blood Rush Potency, this is for mobility, meaning we can use the teleport to get out of the way of incoming damage. We also get a 100% armor buff for 2 seconds, which is very nice. Now you can swap this out, you could go for Metabolism and take 2 charges, that would be absolutely fine. I personally like the extra armor, but horses for courses, personal preference. Passives wise, this is slightly debatable, but the 4 that I like are Blood is Power. This is an extra 20% cooldown after we lose 100% of our life. As we are squishy with the Necro, this does happen quite a lot, and basically we just want 20% extra off Land of the Dead. Now we're also going to take Final Service, so this is the cheat death. It's a bit crap because it will kill all of our mages, which is rubbish, so we can't deal any damage once this has been activated, but it will mean that we've lost all of our life. So Blood is Power should kick in, and we get an extra 20% off Land of the Dead, so hopefully speaking we can just reactivate this again, and if not, again we'll have Bone Armor pretty much back straight away to stun whatever's killed us, so we can just get going again. Now we've also gone for Dark Reaping. The way the build kind of works is more essence is more damage, so the quicker we can get up to max essence we can get another set of mages out. They can then murder stuff, that means more corpses, so more devours. We also get 2% life per kill, so this is a really good way of filling up our life pool for the Devour Satiated. So it's kind of like a momentum build. The more the mages kill stuff, the more life we get, the more essence we get, the more mages we put out, and it kind of cycles on like that really. So that's why it does fit well with the season theme, because it is very much a kind of juggernaut kind of build. You want to get yourself going and then not stop really. Last passive is Extended Servitude. I've just gone for this because the extra 25% duration on the mages is really handy, but it's certainly not the only choice. Now you can take Overwhelming Essence, that would be an extra 20% damage-ish, something around that. I personally like having the mages available for longer, because what it means is that they can kill more things, which means more essence, back onto the whole kind of juggernaut concept. You could also go for Fueled by Death. That would give you 30% move speed. That would help you with getting through the rift quicker, so certainly a decent choice. Now Rathma Shield I don't think is worth it, because Land of the Dead's not available that often. It's not constant. It's not like the God Mode mages or anything like that. And pretty much when Land of the Dead's up, you're probably at your strongest anyway, so I don't really think it's worth it. By all means, you can try it if you want. Now in terms of playstyle, before you jump into the rift, numlock your Devour, so that's going off constantly. Then when you get in the rift, you want to use teleport to avoid any damage. You want to stun a decent amount of enemies with bone armor to get that up. Then you want to pump out a set of mages, hit Land of the Dead, and then just keep pumping out mages. Now if you're in a dicey situation, you can just go straight for Land of the Dead and freeze the screen. So there's a couple of ways you've got them not dying at the start of the rift. Once you've got your mages out, they'll start killing stuff, and then you can just get going. So fairly easy to play, and particularly with the generator with bone spikes, doors aren't a problem, so there's no really bad map for this. Now in terms of swaps, what you can do is if you want to play it a couple of GRs lower, you can take off the Tasker and Theo and put on Stuart's Greaves, and you can run really quick. That's actually quite a decent option. If I was building this for say GR75, I'd probably recommend that, because you get through it an awful lot quicker. And other than that, it's a fairly easy build to put together in terms of RNG, because you've only got 4 scythes in the pool, so you'll find that fairly easily, hopefully. The same for the Shadow Hook, there's only 4 in the loot pool, so that's pretty easy. The Tasker and Theo is a bit of a pain to get. The Crispins is obviously a pain to get, but you could put a Convention of Elements here whilst you're finding it. Captain Crimson's is craftable, so you just have to have good RNG and get the plan to drop. Now, I know some people struggled with this. If you just keep doing public bounties and grouping, you'll get it fairly quickly. It's just a percentage chance every time you do a bounty, so it will drop eventually. And if you're lucky, you'll get it straight away. You could obviously put a Hellfire amulet here whilst you're looking for a flavour of time. We've talked about extra passives you can take, which would be really nice. You can get Reaper's Wraps at level 70, you just have to go and kill Malthael on any difficulty. You could then put on Life from Death in the passives and get extra health globes and extra resource that way, so that's pretty easy gear item to put together. The Circle of Nyluge Evol you can get on a level 1 Necro, so you can roll yourself an extra character, put it in a cube, and then because you're doing bounties to get the Crimsons, you'll pick yourself up a Rogue anyway, and you can put that on your character. And then the offhand, any will do, just as long as it's got pretty good stats. So really easy on the gear requirements, and you'll be smashing content very quickly with Rathma. So for T16 we can actually get away with some swaps. So we're going to take off the Crimson set and replace it with the Gold Wrap and also 6 pieces of Rathma. This frees up a ring slot, and in the cube we're going to take the Avarice Band. We're going to pair that with the Boon of the Hoarder. So the idea is that when we kill enemies, they drop gold, we suck it up with the Avarice Band, and then the Gold Wrap will make us invulnerable. This is really nice because we can also take Devouring Aura, and what this will do is it will also consume corpses, so we don't need to numlock it anymore, and the effect increases depending on our gold pickup radius. So as we pick up gold, the Avarice Band activates and we suck in the screen of gold. We also suck in corpses for extra essence, which is really nice. We also can take Stuart's Greaves, so we can dump the Tasker and Theo, and now we can run a little quicker in between pack to pack. Very useful for T16 because the density just isn't quite there, so being able to move a bit quicker is generally quite helpful. Now the only other thing that we can do is swap the Blood Rush rune, so I've gone for Molting, but Metabolism would also be a really nice choice, so for that one you get 2 charges, whereas with Molting we get an extra corpse, which just keeps our essence high, but either which way it's totally up to you. Now the gem that we're dumping for the Boon of the Hoarder is the Zeiss, just because it's probably the least damaging gem we've got, but other than that guys, it's pretty much the exact same build. Now in terms of stats, I've got 57.5% cooldown. It's not maxed out by any means, but it's obviously pretty high. You want to prioritise cooldown in your paragon and on your gear pieces. Other than that, you want crits. Attack speed's really nice for mages. Mages do benefit from area damage, but because you're going to be murdering stuff pretty quickly, I probably wouldn't bother taking it. It's not terribly worth it. And as always with Necro, defensive stats are generally okay. Vitality, armor, life percent, you need to keep yourself alive, so it's not the end of the world if you don't have full damaging stats and you don't have quad factor gloves. Now you can get skeletal mage damage on your helm. Boots obviously we talked about, get another 15% there, and also you can get it on your offhand, so that's potentially another 45% multiply if you get all 315 rolls. And you can also put physical on your braces and also on your amulet, because that will give us extra damage on the mages, which is obviously quite nice. So that's it guys, that's Rathma for season 19. I would use this probably to gear into Legacy of Dreams mages. I think that's probably going to be the strongest Necro push build next season. Thorns has been nerfed pretty hard. I don't really play it anyway if I'm honest, so I'm not entirely sure how much of a drop it's been because I'm just not terribly interested in testing it. But I'd be gearing into God mode mages on Legacy of Dreams, because the multiplier on Legacy of Dreams when it's maxed out is over double this, plus you get the flexibility of all your gear slots being open, so it is pretty nice. You lose the Crimson's buff, but overall it is a much better build than Legacy of Dreams, but this will certainly do you pretty well until you get to there, and it's a very fast start, as I say, for Necro. So that's it guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave me a thumbs up if you have, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.